Good evening and welcome to Sunset News on this Monday evening. As always, we bring you community stories, economics, weather and sports. I am Aina Kweyo. In the news tonight, this morning the Ministry of Trade alongside the German Sparkenstiftung for International Cooperation kicked off the MSME micro-business simulation. Let's have a look.
We have rolled out and continue to consolidate our key enterprise training programs. We continue to train future, especially those that are now participating, the products that are going to assist us with the diamond and mining sector. We have a center in Caribbean, which I know you are all acquainted with, where we train young Namibians on gemstone cutting and polishing. And we have already trained a number of them, and in the course of this year, we have again about 25 who are on the program. The good news about it is to say that since 2019, when we commenced with the training, we have graduated more than 50 trainees who were duly absorbed by the industry. And we are saying it making an impact, and it making a significant impact. And that's why we want to expose this program to other levels and other sectors of training, so that we only don't focus and concentrate on mining, but look at all other categories and all other sectors, including yours. We know we have various sectors: the charcoal, the firewood, the cosmetics, the metal and fabrication, and so many other sectors that we focus on developing, especially the agriculture sector, ensuring that we develop the animal feed and the voucher, and as we are also moving into the realistic of energy deficiency, there are many gaps that we need to fill in terms of training and capacitating young and old Namibians for them to be able to unleash their full potential.
The Ministry of Industrialization and Trade this morning launched the MSME micro-business simulation training, through which 1,400 entrepreneurs will be trained by July. This was according to the Minister, Lucia Ipumbu. The ministry partnered with the German Sparkenstiftung for International Cooperation and aims to roll out the program throughout Namibia. During her keynote address, Ipumbu said the training is meant to capacitate beneficiaries with entrepreneurial know-how and skill. This training will be launched to enhance in the future the mainstreaming specific business simulations for the agricultural sector as well as financial services, she said. She added that the ministry and Empretech Namibia continue to train gemstones and jewelry artisans through their Carib Gemstone Center. This year, another 25 trainees will start their training in the gemstone cutting and publishing in June. This intervention has seen at least 50 trainees since 2019 being absorbed in the diamond cutting and polishing industry. She added the ministry revealed that it has also managed to train 40 charcoal MSMEs since 2020, exposing entrepreneurs to the full value chain. The goal is to enhance entrepreneurial development, to deliver entrepreneurial training and intervention, the ministry further said. Now, training started today entrepreneurs in the Khomas, Hardap and Kunene regions. Now, moving over to our next story, the legal cost fees for more than 500,000 Namibian dollars billed to the Kavango communities for the appealing Recon Africa's drilling for oil and gas on communal land may have financially ruined conservancies and community forests in the Kavango region. Namibia Civil Society Organization and Kavango communities have therefore called on the government to waive their legal costs billed to these communities who are appealing to Recon Africa's permit for further drilling on their communal lands. According to a combined press statement issued by them, the Namibia Taxation Master will decide on the 16th of May whether these local communities must pay up to 520,757 on government and other legal affairs after the High Court rejected their July 2022 request for urgent action to prevent Recon Africa from continuing to to drill for oil and gas on community managed land. The court cost can financially ruin the conservancies and community forests set up by the state to protect the environment in the Kavango regions. It was said the conservancies and community forests in the Kavango regions have complained that they have not been adequately consulted and that their consent was never sought or given as the Canadian company cuts road through community forests and drilled inside conservancies for oil and gas. They appealed to the Environment Minister to withdraw permission for further drilling activities on their land. Now we move over to our next story. Namibia is not making significant progress to develop its power station to enable it to provide electricity domestically should the power generation in the Southern African power pool become precarious. The Institute for Public Policy and Research says this comes off the back of electricity supply woes currently being experienced in South Africa, of which Namibia relies on much for its electricity, and reduced rainfall in the Kunene River catchment over a 10-year period. It said the Rakana power station recorded the lowest energy generated for the past 10 years due to the reduced rainfall in the Kunene River catchment area. This resulted in Nampower having to import electricity at a high cost to ensure a constant supply. Nampower identifies climate change as key risk, the IPPR said. Rakana's performance dwindling. According to the IPPR, the Rakana power station recorded the lowest energy generated for the past 10 years due to the reduced rainfall in the Kunene River catchment. This resulted in Nampower having to import electricity at high cost to ensure constant supply. Namibia's reliance on electricity import also impacted the ability of Nampower's financial health and ability to generate cash in future. Operation profitability also worsened compared to the previous financial year, with Nampower posting a loss in excess of 2 billion Namibian dollars at both group and company level. For the first time in many years, even earnings before interest, depreciation, tax amortization came out negative, a serious blemish on the group's performance scorecard. Nampower recorded an operating loss before net finance income of 2.3 billion Namibian dollars in its annual report for 2022, which it was stated as so. In our community segment, the Minister of Agriculture and Water, Land Reform, Carl Schleitwein, gave his speech on the day one of a 5-day planning workshop in Swakopmund. Will return shortly.
To another exciting episode of Oneuptwo. Jullie is die weer en vertel ook vir julle waar die vis julle moontlik kan byt.
In our community talk, Minister of Agriculture, Water and Land Reform, Carl Schleitwein, gave his speech on day one of a 5-day planning workshop in Swakopmund. The workshop is focusing on the ministerial strategic plan as well as presentation on various programs and projects within the ministry, and also presenting the platform for various agriculture stakeholders such as GIZ, WFP, and many others to coordinate the planning in the sector. Let's have a look.
Dov, thank you very much for making time. Really, it's a pleasure for us to speak to you, and I hope you're enjoying Namibia. It's a big development that has taken place here. Everybody's wondering, a typical question that any Namibian would ask today is the rationale behind acquiring the majority stake in Namibia Breweries.
Very good. Thanks for having me, and it's fantastic to be here and to feel the vibe and the energy of the team.
Yes.
Maybe it's good to start at the beginning. Sure. Heineken has been a major investor all over Africa for tens and tens of years.
Yeah.
We have operations in over 20 countries, and actually we have been a major investor in Namibian breweries for over 20 years.
Okay.
When we
had our general staff meeting earlier in February this year. And during that staff meeting, we had highlighted our achievements, but we also have highlighted our challenges. Today we are here as managers to deliberate and conclude on policies, strategies to, yes, consolidate our achievements, to strengthen them, but also to address our challenges. Strategic planning and annual goal setting are a periodic platform where the ministry's management, we, and key stakeholders, our development partners, our social, our media parties and our advisors, where we come together and plan collectively as partners in the delivery of our strategic intent. For our ministry, this platform is of particular importance and significance because of, one, about 70% of the population depends directly or indirectly on agriculture for livelihoods. Secondly, 100% of the population depends on a secure water supply. Everyone needs water. And everyone in Namibia needs some piece of land for production or dwelling. We all need to stay somewhere, we all need to have a place of production. So two elements, land and water, everyone is affected. And for agriculture, we are 70% directly or indirectly dependent. So that is the framework or the significance with which our ministry is busy with. If I look around, we are not too many. So it is this room and our collective planning and strategy setting that determines the well-being of almost all Namibians. I want to just reiterate that, to drive home that even we who are sitting here are depending on what we do for our well-being. So again, thank you for coming, and I'm confident that we will be able to deliver. As I said, and I think Penda started the discussion, it's election year, and I'm just foreseeing that every little failure of ours will be exposed, will maybe be blown out of proportion, will be used to undo us. The only way to fight that is delivery of what we have promised and show that we have delivered and that it is doing well for our people. That's the only way. And this workshop will place us in a position to do that. The programs and strategies that we devise and execute and the services that we render affect every Namibian, as I said, and every economic and social activity in the country. In other words, omissions of much needed strategic interventions and underperformance.
After the break, we return with our story of the day.
Hello and welcome to today's Sports Rep Show.
I am your host, Jesse Jackson Kauraika. In replay, Namibia, who had won the toss for the first time on this tour.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, starting off with tennis news, both on the WTA for women's and
In our Story of the Day segment, Dolf van der Brink, CEO of Dutch company Heineken NV, made it clear that Heineken does not consider himself a newcomer to Namibia or Africa's beer market. Watchers Toibon Jebela has a chat with him about their long-term plans.
Dolf, thank you very much for making time. Really, it's a pleasure for us to speak to you, and I hope you're enjoying Namibia. It's a big development that has taken place here. Everybody's wondering, a typical question that any Namibian would ask today is the rationale behind acquiring the majority stake in Namibia Breweries.
Very good. Thanks for having me, and it's fantastic to be here and to feel the vibe and the energy of the team.
Yes.
Maybe it's good to start at the beginning.
Sure.
Heineken has been a major investor all over Africa for tens and tens of years.
Yeah.
We have operations in over 20 countries. And actually we have been a major investor in Namibian breweries for over 20 years.
Okay.
When we became the second largest investor and shareholder. So it's not new. We know the company intimately well, and we have been part of the extended family, if you like, for a long time.
Yes.
But it was always our dream to further our investment in Southern Africa and in Namibia precisely. And therefore we're very happy and proud to know being able to take over the share of ONL to become the majority shareholder. But it's also really important that we are maintaining the public listing on the Namibian Stock Exchange.
Yeah.
Still 40% of the company will be owned by the Namibian people, by the Namibian investors, the pension funds and what have you.
Yeah, absolutely.
In our economic news, after the break, we take a look at Namibia's target global investors. Stay with us. In our economic news tonight, the Namibian Investment Promotion and Development Board has coordinated the country's participation at the annual investment meeting 2023, taking place from the 8th of May to the 11th of May 2023 in Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates. Now, the annual investment meeting is on an influential platform that brings together investors, policymakers, and industry leaders from the world to foster economic growth and international cooperation. Namibia's involvement in the meeting underscores its commitment to attracting investment, diversifying its economy, and establishing itself as a prime destination for global investors seeking growth and diversity in the emerging markets. Now we take a look at our economic indicators. The Namibian dollar trades at 80 Namibian dollars 36 cents to the US and 20 Namibian dollars 26 cents to the euro. It trades at 23 Namibian dollars 22 cents to the pound and 2 Namibian dollars 64 cents buys you 1 Chinese yuan. Zinc is up by 0.74%, while Brent crude oil is down by 2.2%, trading at $76.62 per barrel. In the international news slots, more Iranian actresses were summoned for not wearing a hijab. We'll be right back. In our international news slot tonight, now Iranian's judiciary has summoned 2 more well-known actresses for taking off their headscarves in public as they continue their efforts to crack down on a violation of the country's hijab law, which have now gone beyond celebrities to encompass businesses and sports events. State-affiliated media reported on Monday that judicial cases had been lodged against 37-year-old Barana Kosari and 44-year-old Shangai Degan for not fully adhering to hijab laws, which were passed shortly after the 1979 Islamic Revolution. Now, Kosari is accused of attending a funeral for a fellow actor on Friday without a headscarf, while Degan had been photographed with her hair visible during a book unveiling in a cave in Tehran a day later. They join a growing list of prominent figures in Iranian cinema who have been charged over hijab laws. Fateme Motadeira and Asnef Began, two veteran actresses, had judicial cases lodged against them last week after they participated in an event to commemorate another actor. Veteran actor Reza Kayan, who's 71, was also charged after the same event for defending a woman's right as a citizen to take off their headscarves. Now, in late April, police confirmed that well-known actress Katayun Raihi and Pentia Barana have had their cases referred to the judiciary for a crime of removing their hijab in public and publishing its images in the virtual space. Tehran prosecutor Ali Selahi said a number of celebrities have not answered the judicial summons, and he threatened they would be arrested if they continue to refuse to do so. Many actresses joined a growing number of Iranian women in taking off their hijabs after the September death in custody of Masa Amini, a 22-year-old who was arrested by the country's so-called morality police for allegedly not adhering to hijab laws. The incident triggered months of protests across the country. We return with the weather shortly. Stay with us. Let's have a look at our weather predictions for tomorrow. Sunny and hot weather is expected in the north with a Nana at 33 degrees and Rokana at 33 degrees. A cloudy weather is expected along the coast with a high of 24 degrees in Walvis Bay and 24 degrees in Hentis Bay. In our sports section tonight, Namibia swimmers win the Kana Zone 4 Championships, which came at an end in Luanda, Angola over the weekend. After the break, we bring you sports. In the sports news tonight, Namibia swimmer win the Kana Zone 4 Championships, which came at an end in Luanda, Angola over the weekend. Namibia won the event with a total of 2,757 points, finishing more than 400 points ahead of second place Angola, while Mozambique came in on third place with 2,068 points. Namibia was also the overall winner in the male as well as female categories. They won the male category with 1,330 points, followed by Angola and Mozambique, while they won their women's category with 1,427 points, followed by Angola and Mozambique. The Eventok Draft Belvichia suffered a narrow 20-23 loss against Leopards Rugby Union in an entering Mzansi Challenge match on Saturday in Walvis Bay. South Africa's Leopard Rugby Union cemented its 24-year winning streak by defeating the Eventok Draft Belvichia's 23-22 in an entertaining Mzansi Challenge match on Saturday at Jan Vilken Stadium, Walvis Bay. Namibia striker Zeneta Coleman's club, Fenerbahce, has reached a semi-final for the Turkish Cup competition with a 2-1 aggregate scores in its quarter-final round. Coleman proudly shared this clip of his superb goal she scored shortly before halftime in the first leg clash against Faith Karumugruk that clinched a 1-0 win. After the break, we return with the highlights. Stay with us. Thank you for watching our show tonight. Here are the highlights. Legal cost fees of more than 500,000 billed to Kavango communities for appealing Recon's drilling for oil and gas on communal land may financially ruin conservancies and community forests in these Kavango regions. Namibia striker Zeneta Coleman's club Fenerbahce has reached the semi-final of the Turkish Cup competition with a 2-1 aggregate score in its quarter-final round. Coleman proudly shared this clip of his superb goal and scored shortly before halftime in the first leg clash against Faith that clinched a 1-0 win. And with that, we've come to the end of tonight's broadcast. Please do make sure you join Sunset News on Facebook on all NMH platforms on weekdays as well as on our website or Oneuptwo. Sunset News screens on DSTV channel 285 as well as GoTV channel 94 every weekday from 7:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. This has been Sunset News. Please don't end your day without us. Good night.